If you've been giving talks, but those experiences are still not converting into clients, the problem is not you, it's this one particular thing. If you have tried different things and it's still not working, this video may help actually unpack and unlock the one thing that you're overlooking. And look, I have been there, okay? I have spoken all over the world, from New Zealand to Italy to Hong Kong, and right now I'm in coaching with clients who are using their talks literally to launch businesses. And this one particular thing could be the difference between you walking off that stage and having a super long line waiting for you and people ready to work with you, right? Converting those people from, oh my God, that was the most powerful keynote that I've ever heard, verbatim quote from one of my recent clients, to when can we actually begin working together? You want to get people, yes, to appreciate that this is the best keynote that they've ever heard, and you want those same people to convert into paying clients. How do you do that? It's quite unlikely that the problem that you have is how you give your keynote, because already you are getting feedback. I mean, you have been booked for a keynote, right? You're the kind of person who's given the corporate workshop. So the problem is not that that feedback isn't accurate. It's dead on. And if you go to all of your social media, there's evidence of that. These people afterwards, they're doing a specific thing. They're definitely following you. They're definitely in your DMs talking about, oh my God, that was amazing. And in the moment, they're giving you a standing ovation. So what's going on? Why are those same people not converting into clients? Number one, before you even walk on stage, your talk has to have a job. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, when I work with my clients, one of the first things I want to know, even before we hop on a call, is what are we doing here, okay? What are we doing here? What are we working towards? What is the goal? And I'm not talking about like, yes, you want to shine. Everybody wants to have that TED moment where they, at the end of their 18 minutes, everybody's like, oh my God, wow, you really know how to keynote a keynote. You bodied that. But what I want to ask you is, 6 months after this talk has already been something that was in the rear view, what do you want to happen? What do you want the people who are in your audience, what action do you want to see them taking 6 months from today? 3 months after that experience, what do you want those people to be doing? If you checked in with them, what exactly would be on your checklist to say, oh, this has happened, this has happened, this has happened. And of course, immediately as you walk off that stage, what is the call to action? One of the things that I find really fascinating is how easy it is to get like all in our feels and emotions and excited about giving a talk, right? Because it's a very feelingful thing. When you're giving a talk, you're literally digging into your body to give somebody something that is a piece of usually your intellectual property, so something that you've known for a really long time, and literally a piece of your spirit. It's your voice that's speaking. It's a bit of you that you're putting out there and projecting and hope that it lands. I understand how emotional that roller coaster is, but I want to remind you that the talk is a marketing tool, okay? This is business. Your talk or your workshop or even your retreat, it is supposed to do a job. And the thing about you that I have to applaud you for, you have so much integrity. When you get out there, you want to make sure that you are fulfilling the mandate, the brief that you got from the organizer who said, like, I want the talk to hit these particular points. Dun, dun, dun. Here's our intention before we walk on stage. All of those things, you're delivering all of those things, but you are not doing the number one thing, which is asking yourself, what is the job, the marketing job of this talk? What do I want this talk to make people do? And am I clear about that? Let me give you a concrete example. I led a retreat with some corporate executives, and man, when I tell you, you could drop a pin and you would hear the sound of that pin at the beginning, because people were so stiff and buttoned up and like very much playing their corporate game when they walked into the room, right? And through the work that I did with them throughout that session, by the end of what we did together, that included breathing exercises, that included getting them to connect with each other, that room was electric. I actually still remember there was this one dude, I asked an opening question, and the way that he responded to that opening question was basically to come at me. He answered in a super defensive way that let me know, like, this is not the territory to do whatever cute little woo-woo thing that you think you're over here to put on us, African lady. By the time we walked out, that guy was walking side by side. He's like a really big, buffy, like bear kind of guy. By the time we walked out, he was walking side by side with me and telling me all kinds of things about the company and what he was excited to work on, and actually answering the questions in a legitimate and genuine way. I had people crying, okay, by the end of that session. But here's the thing, boo-boo. That amazing retreat and all that hard work that I did, it didn't have a job. It did not have a job. Did it result in them booking me again? No, they didn't book me again. Why? I didn't architect this particular retreat with this nugget that I'm giving you. Make sure when you build it, and this is what we will spend time doing, one of the first things I say is like, what are we doing here? What are we trying to get? Okay? So that's number one. Does your talk have a job? Number two, you miss the conversion moment. This one stings, because it's not just do you architect the talk in order to get people to take a very specific action, right? It's called a call to action. But the second point is about not missing that sweet spot, that moment. And the moment is when you actually have them super wide open, ready to connect, all ears. When you walk off that stage and everybody is applauding you and you have a standing ovation, you've already missed the moment. You have already missed the moment. I want to tell you a story. I went to this powerful experience, and it had included a keynote by the founder in a very big city. People flew in from around the world in order to come and hear what this person had to say and to support them, right? And it was a multi-day experience. It really was catalytic, and it was electrifying. Everybody in that room, like, you know when you walk into like a conference experience, and by the time you get to lunch, everybody feels like they're a friend and somebody you know, not only know by first name, but you want to spend more time with that person. It felt like that, right? Ask me at the end, what was asked of us. I'm not talking about a call to action, but the moment where the organizer had an opportunity to actually put something in front of us. That moment never came. In fact, we left that entire experience, got back in our Ubers. I got back in my Uber. I was on the phone with my baby being like, hey, mommy's flying back home. I get back in the airplane, still nothing. I get back into my house, still nothing. And a couple days later, there lands the email making some attempt to take back that moment and to say, hey, here's the thing that I would love you to do. So you have a call to action. It's pretty clear, but you missed the moment. That was a complete miss of the moment. People are already back into their busy lives. People are negotiating all of the ways already that they could show up, even if they wanted to, right, for this ask that you have. And they're not weighing it anymore from the super fueled up and open space where they were live in the moment. And I don't want that to happen to you. When you are on that stage, when you are delivering the experience, that's the moment. You've got to sink your teeth into that hot flaming moment to deliver the call to action and make it really clear, like, this is something that we get to do together, right? And I'm inviting you right now to take action now. How do you bake action into this particular moment that you've built, right? That's a really special moment. And how do you make the action something that they could do right now from exactly where they're sitting? Everybody has these powerful tools in their pocket. Whatever it is that you're asking for, think about how can you make it actionable immediately on their phone. And number 3, the promised land. Do they understand your particular promised land and where you are taking them? What do I mean by that? Your promised land is the thing that you uniquely are able to gift to them, and the dream that you are able to help them realize once they're on the other side of being your client, okay? So a concrete example is if somebody comes to you and you are somebody who works around weight loss, right? And you put them through a program. At the end of that program, that person is going to be a brand new them, right? Maybe they have a 6-pack. Maybe they're better able to play with their toddler and chase them around the playground. Maybe they feel like themselves again. Maybe this is a new mom who really just wants to feel strong in her body again. I'm asking you, do they understand through your talk what that promised land looks like and how you're uniquely able to take them there, right? Are you, in one crisp sentence, helping people completely understand, here's exactly what this person does, one thing, and here's exactly what that dream is going to look like if I work with them to get that one thing? Have you done that through your talk? Because if you haven't, then all you have is people who are super activated and super excited and open, ready to connect with nothing to connect to. They don't even know, I like her, but like, I'm not sure what the next step is. I'm not sure what this leads to. You haven't made it very clear, basically, what your offer is and also what it is that you do. I want you to pay attention to TED and how beautiful those talks are, as beautiful as they are. One of the things that's on purpose with TED, they tell you, like, we don't want you to promote yourself, right? So how do you do that on a stage like that in a way that's really strategic? Because that particular model is so helpful, I think, for just about any talk. You don't want to make people feel like you're selling them something through a talk. Who wants to hear an infomercial for 18 minutes straight? But you want those people to be explicitly clear about what is it that you offer and what is the dream on the other side of them working with you to get that offer. Do you understand what I'm saying? Go through TED and see the ones that stand out. You have no doubt about what this person does and how this person is changing their world, your world, and could specifically, if I could get my words out, could specifically change the world of the person in the audience. Does your talk do that? I just walked you through 3 actionable ways that your talk could convert clients immediately. It is not about changing your talk, the content of your talk. It is not about changing how you deliver. It has everything to do with how you architect, how you build your talk. And this is exactly what we do inside of the Whole Damn Talk. The Whole Damn Talk is the signature program that I offer to clients. If you're interested in giving the best talk of your life, and when you walk off that stage, people not only give you a standing ovation, but they're asking you the most critical question ever. How do we work together? When can we get started? If you're interested in that, all of the details are in show notes. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. This is Macho Khodi. I will catch you here next time.